It's Friday. I just, hey everybody, it's Melissa. It's Friday. I just spilled my drink down my shirt. I gotta tell you, I've had a woof kind of couple weeks, and I am good. But man, all the stuff all at once. So I wanted to check in and say hi. We have a lot of new beloveds that have joined the group, so welcome. I'm so glad you found us. And reach out and send me a message if you're looking for something or you have any questions. Again, I'm Melissa, and this is Beloved Bust. So I wanted to just pop in and say, hey, you might be like, where has this lady been? So I might just vent a little bit. You know, there's this beautiful word that I'm going to try and think of the woman's name who came up with this. We have Mama Gina that comes up with a lot of ways to process stuff. And there's the word of using swamp. You know, like sometimes when you just like, whoa, let it all out. You're not fixing it. You're not doing anything with it. You're just like getting it out of your head. You're like venting. It could be anger. You could swamp it out with a dance. You could, use your voice, use your body, or just post down below in the comments. Swamp it out. So, let's see. So, I swamp that my husband had a kidney stone the last couple weeks and he's fine. And yet it was a lot and it's still ongoing. Like he has a minor surgery or something to help with that. And he's had it before last year. And so it was just a lot. I swamp that he doesn't do a great job taking care of himself. And I swamp that I have lots of beautiful ideas that would be helpful that are not taken into account. So then I swamp that I'm not very empathetic or compassionate when other things happen that could have been prevented from said tips. And then, of course, I have own like guilt that comes up or something because then, or something. Maybe it's just ego that I'm not so helpful. And we got through it, right? My daughter came in town and she's 25. I was so excited. I'm so excited Emma's in town. We are really close. She lived in San Francisco for 7 years, and we see each other all the time before COVID. So I got really sick with COVID in the very beginning, and so I was just in bed a lot and did not travel or want to be around people and couldn't travel. And so I swamped that. I feel distance between us because we haven't really hung out in so long. And I swamped that it felt like I had a 15-year-old in my house as opposed to the grown up young woman that I've hung out with on the phone and even right before COVID. So that was fun to pivot, right? So then I bragged that I pivoted that and I was able to find a spot where I could just connect or be present or give her space or take mine, and everything is great. It's all well and good. And then I swamp that one of my therapists got exposed to COVID, so she took the week off, which is great. We are very careful and we all are masked and all the things at the clinic, and we don't mess around with that. But, it just raises the volume of tension a little bit. It wouldn't be tension, just the things that we juggle in life, right? So 2 weeks of all the good stuff, and then just the usual life stuff, and then our own body, our own nervous system that needs a break. And so I've kind of been in it. And then I think it comes up with judgments that I should be able to handle all this stuff better or have more bandwidth or have more patience or all the things. I don't know if any of you have any of those things that come up in your world. So there's that. I'll post down a video down below of sometimes what I do. I dance it off, right? Got to shake it out a little bit. And then the other piece that added a little squeeze to all this is that I'm going on vacation next week, which is definitely a brag. I haven't gone anywhere since COVID started outside of work. And so I have a talk. I'm going to be speaking, which is awesome, to a group of doctors in Vail, Colorado at one of their retreats. And so it's a really great opportunity. I'm really excited to share information with them. And the logistics of planning a trip. Like, I was like, where is my suitcase? Like, I haven't been anywhere in so long. So even like, oh, I have to book the hotels and I have to, like, we're driving. That was a great decision. So I can leave when I want. It's a long drive. I'm going to take my time. My daughter's coming with me. And with the pivot, it will be normal age Emma and not 15-year-old or mom stuff. So we're driving, and she gets to see Boulder, Colorado. We'll hang out there a couple days before we go up to Vail, where I'm going to be doing my talk. So it's a great, amazing thing, and yet there's still the stress and logistics and things that have to happen, like packing the car or getting the dogs to the kennel or all the things. And then we just still have to eat and make dinner and sleep. And I swamped that I had appointments next week that I forgot to cancel because I didn't realize that I'm going out of town next week. I thought it was 2 weeks out. All the things. Ever find yourself in one of those spots? And I think with recovery, right, we get to be really nice to ourselves. And so you can have all of the things and notice, as opposed to judging that I should have more bandwidth or more patience to handle all of this and cook dinner or whatever. But that, like, oh, I'm pretty much out of spoons, right? I'll post down the spoon blog because it's a good one for this sort of thing. And then I can communicate that to my loved ones. I would love to look that up and figure that out for you, but actually, I don't have any spoons left, so I won't be doing that right now. We get to learn the art of saying no. No, thank you. Won't be doing that. And not feel guilty for it. Say no and not feel guilty. We can also say no without explanations. We can say no, I think that might be your job, or maybe you can do that. We can pass it back to them, pass it on, or we can say, I'll try that on again later and see if that shows up for me. So swamping it out is a practice, again, by this woman, Mama Gina, who is really empowering women from these places. Sometimes that women were taught, or maybe culture frowns upon us having these sorts of feelings or declaring things out loud like that. So 2 weeks, I've just been kind of in it, and I miss the writing and connecting and such. So I've been watching some women come into the group, and I'm just so grateful that you found us. I had some amazing clients this week at the clinic, and I almost wanted to keep a list of the complaints that they're coming in with as far as statements from their doctors that maybe are not so helpful. They're not all like that, of course. There's some amazing, amazing doctors and healthcare practitioners and teams out there. And there are some that I'm not impressed with. So I did a lot of teaching in the clinic this week about how to advocate for yourself, how to get that screen or that ultrasound in something that you are needing or wanting, to get more answers back than just you need to lose weight and don't sleep on that side. I had a doctor tell one of my clients that because she has pain. Lose weight and don't sleep on that side. That was his answer. Put it back on her. She does not need to lose weight. She is a normal menopausal, whatever. She does not need to lose weight. That is not actually the solution. So we have a couple of those this week, and that is really one of my favorite things about coaching and working with women and seeing women in the clinic is to create an environment. And one of the first things that we do is talk about how we know the body, right? And you get to know your body in all the ways and the things that get in the way of that, as well as on the other side of that is that you can communicate your needs and what you're feeling to your healthcare team or your loved ones. You create, you have more details, more specifics, as opposed to like, oh, I just hurt everywhere, I can't really move. You can be like, I have this pain, it keeps showing up on the left side at the end of the day. It seems to be around when I'm done with work, when I sit at the computer, right? So we can get more and more specific, and you get more insight on your patterns, on what's showing up for you. Or I get a lot of anxiety and just feel really off right before I go meet with this really great group of friends I have. And so then you can explore what is showing up for you in that moment. We start to notice and we give ourselves the attention that the body is asking for, that the nervous system is looking for, right? Regulating the nervous system, knowing your body, and being able to communicate that. And that all equals to advocacy so that you can, if you do come into the situation, I hope you don't, where you have to actually speak back and ask for what you want. It's really important and a beautiful way to show up for ourselves. And it doesn't always come that easily. We're not always, especially in those kind of situations. So I had a good couple weeks, and it's all good, and it's also a lot, and it's fine. And so I check in with myself, right? What do you do when you're in a spin? So I work on my body. I do my myofascial stretching. I breathe and voo in the car, right? All of these different methods that can really help in these different instances and patterns that show up to reconnect with ourselves and help our bodies feel safe on that primal level. We're regulating the nervous system. I called a friend, right? Check in with your body, connect, take things off your plate, call a friend. So I called a friend, and it was lovely. And I asked her first, like, I'm kind of in it. Do you mind if I vent? I'm going to swamp a little. And she was like, yep, bring it on. And so I swamped and swamped and swamped on the way to work. And then she said, can I tell you what my thoughts are? Yes, yes, yes. Sometimes you just need to vent and you don't really want to hear anything back. But I really, really did. And it was really sweet that she asked. And I was very grateful. And one of the things that really resonated outside of all of the things she said, but she reminded me that things are temporary. And sometimes I forget, especially when you're in it. Do you ever forget that things are temporary? The upset or the squeeze or the pain, right? The flare up, the mood or the space that my daughter and I were in as we were refiguring out the ways that we like to be together and hang out and interact. That everything is temporary as far as in that moment. And so when we go out of our head, out of those spinning thoughts, and go into our body, doing something that's self-care. We talk about self-care in this group all the time because it's so, so great on so many levels, because you are creating more resources for you when you are in it. And the work that you do outside of that spin and the squeeze and those days when we're just over it and out of spoons, all the work that you're doing outside of that shows up in the moment when you need it most. So as I was driving and I was in it, and I remembered, maybe I'll call my friend. she might not be there, but I'm reaching out, right? I'm not just holding it all in. I'm not alone. I'm not isolating myself. I kind of want to. And so, all the more reason to call my friend. So, I reach out. She's there, and I get to connect. And it's a very short piece before we both head in to our day. And it was just the thing. And of course, work is my happy place. I get in my space where I'm connected, where I'm feeling all of the things. I am aligning and noticing energetics and structure, helping women get out of pain and back into their body, talking to women and coaching women about how to advocate for themselves, how to connect with the one thing that really lights them up that they've been missing during their recovery. And so I'll be on vacation next week. I haven't talked, so I guess I'm working a little bit, but I'm going out of town, very new. And so today I am packing ish and booking the smaller hotels on the way and getting used to the idea of going out of town and getting in touch with a part of myself that I haven't thought about in a long time since COVID, since I got really sick in March of 2020. And that part of me that really loves to travel. I love it. I love to travel. I love road trips. I love driving. I love making playlists. I'm really good at planning and creating the thing. And so I get to say hi to that part of myself, even though there's another part of me that is nervous about going, that is nervous about the altitude, is nervous about all the things. And then there's this other part of me that I can sort of feel into, and she's really excited to spend time with my daughter, to spend time with myself, to sit somewhere in the woods and breathe. And so it's okay to have those days and those weeks. And sometimes they're hard, and sometimes they're really hard. And then there's that old saying of just chop wood, carry water. And that's when you go through your routine. You think about, you do one thing, then you do the next thing. On the back of that, you're doing this consistent lines of self-care. You're creating ways to check in with yourself, creating feedback loops, open to listening to your body and what it needs. Does it need space? Does it need to go for a road trip? Does it want pot roast for dinner? Right? And so we're allowing ourselves to be guided from within as opposed to the things outside telling us what we should or shouldn't do. Even the one that says, well, I used to do this or that. So we notice where we are now. And then you have the resources, right? Swamp it out. So good to just like move it through. Talk about it. It could be in your journal. It can be in the messages here. You can send me a private message if you don't want everybody reading about your swamp. And then at the end of the swamp, you could notice a little bit of the turn as I was talking. So we swamp the things. And then we notice the things that are working. That I remembered to reach out and call a friend instead of staying in that isolated space and feeling alone. To voo in the car or lay on the ball so that I could feel my body and direct my attention and myself back in, to slow everything down. You start talking about the gratitudes. We talk about those sometimes. Your self-care is creating a baseline for resources to take care of you, not only in the moment, but in the future when you're in a spin. And then we have maybe, I had a coach and she told me, she had me come up with 3 things where I was enough today. So before I go to bed, or on days that are swirling around and just a lot, you can find the spot 3 ways in where I was enough today. I was enough at the clinic where I showed up and worked on my clients. I was enough in the office as I connected on Zoom with a couple coaching clients. I was enough for myself as I took some time to stretch and be in my body. And I was enough at home. An example would be when you cook dinner, where you were enough because you watered the plants. It can be all of the things, and even the smallest things. And we're bringing our attention, shining a light on where you are enough, where things are working. It's Friday. I'm Melissa, and I'm with Beloved Bust. I'm going to post a couple things in the comments down below. The blog about the spoons, it's a good one. It's such a great way to describe where you're at and also have a little insight into what all that stuff is that you might be feeling. A way to understand or to watch how the body is responding and giving you insight onto maybe what it needs or doesn't need. And if you have any swamps, I'd love to hear it. One of the things that's so beautiful about this group is you know that you're not alone. And so swamp it out. You can swamp it in this post. You can swamp it out or let me know what's going on in a private message. You can always send me an email. In the emails that I send, you can respond back. I hope you all are doing well. I've been thinking about you. And I'll keep you posted and post some pictures of my trip. And yeah, I'm looking forward to having some space of just or different. I'm not even sure what it is. It'll be my first trip though, right? So it gets to be whatever it is. It's okay to take the time that you need whenever you need it, or clock it in for later. Three ways in which you're enough. It's pretty good. Swamp it out, growl it out, dance it off, and then think about some of the things or write it down, follow it up with the gratitudes, ways in which things are working and where you are enough. And then you can just feel the softening as everything kind of settles back in. Reach out if you have any questions. It's so great to be with you all, and I will talk to you soon. Bye.